last time I told you about two different ideas, okay, by using which the lexical analysis performance can be improved, okay, performance can be enhanced. So what was the case is you maintain a pair of buffers rather than buffer halves. Okay, and what you do is you take the entire program. The entire program could be very lengthy, so you load one buffer, then first you reach to the end of first buffer, then you load the second buffer. You do alternately till the program reaches to the end of file. Okay, and two ways we have seen, that is one with the sentinels and one without the sentinels. Okay, that is sentinel means end of file character, and we have seen the number of comparisons, okay, how it is varying, that we have discussed last time. Today what is the goal? Today we are going to see about few things about regular expressions, okay, transition diagrams, okay, and then we'll move to few important aspects, okay? So let us start. You know what is a language? So you know that. So I'm going a little quick. Okay. Language is nothing but a set of strings. Okay. And the alphabet, which is denoted by sigma, okay, is probably if it is 0, 1, if it is a Boolean language, ABC, it could be capital A to Z. So you can see this is a alphabet set sigma, and this is a language generated by that. If it is an alphabet A to Z, then these are the languages. The set of strings generated by the combination of this alphabet is called a language. The spatial languages are empty language, and there is a null language. Okay. So the null can be represented by this also and this also. Alternative, I use both the notations. Okay, this is also null, this is also. Okay. So the null language contains one thing, that is a null string, while empty language is totally empty. And you know there is a one-to-one correspondence between regular expressions, okay, and finite automata, that is deterministic finite automata. Why I am talking about this? Because lexical analysis is regular expression, based on regular expression. Okay, for everything you want to tokenize, you make a regular expression. Regular expression is connected with finite automata. That means ultimately every lexical analysis task is dealing with finite automata. Okay, so you know that two languages L and M, you can take a union of M, that the set of all strings in both the language. Concatenation is little bit different, okay. uh, then clean star, so L star means 0 or more times. Positive closure L plus means 1 or more times, you know this, okay. We generally write a sigma as alphabet set, R be a regular expression, and LR is a language generated by regular expression R. Remember this, whenever I write R, is meant as a regular expression, and whenever I write LR, that means a language generated by regular expression R. Okay. So language is nothing but set of strings. You know these rules. This is R 0 or more times. If you concate null, doesn't matter. Okay. This is so. One more thing. Whenever I write a pipe, what does that mean? Whenever I write this R, pipe S, what is that meaning of that? R is one regular expression. S is another regular expression. So R pipe S is same as R plus S. Or in terms of language, it will be language of represented by R, union language is represented by S. Am I saying correct or not? Rahul, Dinal, is that correct? Jayesh? Yes. Okay. So and so R and pipe S is a regular expression, the language is LR union NS. R followed by S, that means concatenation. Okay? So you know this. Now, let us take few regular expressions to just briefly recap the idea of what you have studied. Okay? I'll give you one language and you can come up with the regular expression. That thing already you have done in TOEFL. Okay, I'm trying to give you some different things. So this thing you must have encountered, that all strings that start with tab or end with bet. Okay. So I want to write a regular expression for all strings that start with tab. So first it should be tab, T-A-B. Then it could be anything. So A to Z or small a to Z, it start means any combination of alphabet. Okay. So this is the thing is starting with tab. Let's start with tab. Another thing is or. So whenever it is or, I will write a pipe. It should end with bet. Another string that should be accepted is end with bet. So that means initially it could be anything, A to Z or small a to Z star, but it should end with what? Bet. B. So this is a union of two languages. This is one language which starts with tab. This is another language which ends with bet, and this is an all strings that starts with tab or end with bet. Okay. Then I hope you are getting, right? Everybody is getting? Yes. Okay. So all strings in which digits 1, 2, 3 exist in ascending numerical order. Okay. So let us say I have a string formed by capital letters and digits 1, 2. Let us one more assumption that 1, 2, 3 is coming only once. Okay. So initially it could be any combination of alphabets, then 1, then again any combination of alphabets, then 2, any combination of alphabets, then 3, then also it can be any combination of alphabets. A to Z star means any combination of alphabets. So here what happens is 1, 2, 3 exists in ascending order. I mean first it should be 1, then it should be 2, then it should be 3. Okay, ascending numerical order. Okay. And then next is all strings of lowercase letters in which the letters are in ascending lexicographic order. Now, what do you mean by lexicographic order? You know that first it should be A, then B, then C, likewise. Let us say my alphabets are only small letters. So first it could be any number of A's, A star, then followed by B's, B star, C star, concatenated, so on Z star. So whatever the string it will be generating, okay, it will be always lexicographic order. So it can generate A, B, C, D. It can generate A, B, E, Z. These are all valid strings. These are all valid. But if you try to generate B, A, D, E, is it valid according to lexicographic order or not? No, it's not valid and it will not be generated. Because once you start creating B, if you go in a head direction, there is no A. Okay, that would be the case. So, okay, so what I wanted to say is given a language, you can always come up with regular expression. Okay, given a language, you can always come up with regular expression. Not any language, regular language, okay? So, let us take one more example. Okay? All strings of lowercase letters that contains 5 vowels in order. This is given in an exercise. So you know, I want 5 vowels. So I mean A, E, I, O, U. Okay. So what I write is others. What do you mean by other? Other than A, E, I, O, U. So this is a set of characters other than A, E, I, O, U. So B, C, D, F, G, H, so on up to Z. Okay. So initially, it could be other star. That means it can be any combination of this then A, because I want a vowels in order. I want vowels in order. So first it should be A, then E, I, O, U. Okay, A could be any number of times, E could be any number of times, likewise. So then what I write is other, but A can also come any number of times, other or A star. Then E should come at least once. Okay. Then again other and E star. But remember, after E, A should not come again. Okay. So that's why I have not written other or A or E. I have just written other or E star. Then I, then other or I star. Then O, other or O star. U, then other or U star. So in this, whatever the string if is generated, in that there is at least one AEIOU. AEIOU will come, but in an order. Okay, first A, then E, then I, then O, then U. So you must have studied this one. So I'm not going in details of that. All strings of A's and B that do not contain substring ABB. कोई भी string generate कर सकते हैं. ABB, you should not have ABB as a substring. Okay. So this is the correct regular expression for that. Can anybody say why? I want to generate all the strings of A's and B's, alphabet are A and B, that do not contain the substring ABB. Why this is correct? B star, A plus B, question mark. Okay, question mark means what? A question mark, which means A either 1 times or 0 times. Okay. So this do not contain the substring ABB. So you can see it creates a null. It can create null. From B star you can take null. From this star you can take null. Yes. Can it create just a single A? Yes, it can create A. From A plus you can just take A one time. From B question mark you can take null. Because B 0 times means null. Same way AB, can you create AB? Yes, from this I can create AB. Okay. Can I create BA? Yes, I can create. I can create B from here and A from here. Okay. 2 times A, 2 times B. Yes, you can create 2 times A from here, 2 times B from here. You can also create ABA. Yes, it is possible. First time you can take AB from this. Next time you just take A from this. Okay, you cannot create ABB, or it won't be possible to create ABB because this A you can create any number of times because of plus, but once it comes to B, okay, then you have to compulsorily take A. If you are taking this as a star multiple times, then A plus B is followed by again A. So there is, after AB, there is no B. And that's why all the strings which are generated will not contain, okay, have ABB as substring. Am I saying correct or not? Yes, Rahil, Yash, ABB is not going to be the substring in that. Or yes. Okay. The one last one, then I will not continue with this regular expression. Okay. There is just a one difference here. Substring was here, now it is subsequence. I do not want subsequence ABB. See, here the subsequence ABB is possible, because if you take a like this, ABB is not possible, but subsequence ABB is possible, because this string BA, can I say ABB is a subsequence of this string? ABB is a subsequence or not? But ABB is not a substring, right? ABB is not a substring, but it is a subsequence. So that means from this earlier example, from this regular expression, I can generate ABB as a subsequence. But I don't want ABB to be generated as a subsequence. Okay. So what I can do, there are three options for. Okay. So if you have just a string of null or B's, okay, there won't be any subsequence ABB because it's just 0 or more times B. B followed by at least one A. Okay. So if it is a B star followed by A plus A's, at least one A. So here the strings will be BAA or AAA like that. There will not be any subsequence like ABB because after A there is no B. Right. Okay. But you have to also consider the third possibility, B star A plus BA star. Okay. B star A plus B A star. Now, why to consider this possibility? I don't want to generate ABB as a subsequence. Okay, but this type of strings are also possible, like BA BA. Okay, so this type of string we don't have ABB as a subsequence. This is a valid string. So if you see the earlier option B star A plus, I cannot generate BA BAA by B star A plus. But if you see the third option B star A plus BA star, okay, after A I can also have one B, okay, and followed by A's. Here also there is no chance of ABB, okay. Why? Because after A, B is just coming once, not twice. Okay, so this is required. The third one is required to make all possible strings uh, to be included in the given language. Uh, I hope everybody is clear. B star, B star A plus, B star A plus, B A star. These are the set of strings which do not contain subsequence A, B, B. Yes, Rahul, Rahil, Jinal, then Yash, Harsh. Uh, is it okay or not? Yes. Okay, fine. Now let's move ahead. So these things I leave as an exercise. Okay. This already I have told you. Vowels in order. Number of A's and B's with odd number of A's. Odd number of A's, how you will generate? So using this inner bracket, I generate even number of A's. A, B star, A, B star, star. And then before that, it can be any number of B's. Okay. Then you can write A. So this bracket will generate even number of A's, then one more A. So it will be odd number of A's and B's could be anywhere. So with odd number of A's. This is one string in which there is a string of zeros and ones. Any two zeros are separated by three ones. Are separated by three ones, exactly three ones. So you see any two zeros. So if you take any two zeros, so 0, then there should be 1, 1, 1, then it could be next 0. Okay. So 0, 1, 1, 1 star. Okay. Before that, any number of ones can come. After that also 0 can come because if you take a last 0, 1, 1, 1, then 0 can come. Okay. That's separated by three ones. Okay. If you just take a string of ones or null, okay, then there are no zeros, so this trivially holds. Okay, so this is also correct thing. Now you will say, so I just wanted to say regular expression is corresponds to regular language. And this regular language is associated with finite automata, okay, and the entire Lex is based on that. Let's see some of the things. Okay. So now this is from the compiler perspective. Pascal language. Pascal was an earlier language. Okay, just want to give an example from that, identifier rule for Pascal language is this. So letter could be any capital letter or small letter. So this pipe means or A or B or C, Z. This is letter could be any uppercase or lowercase letter. Digit could be anything from 0 to 9. And then what is an identifier? In Pascal, remember, in Pascal, this is the rule that letter followed by letter or, this is like a plus, letter or digit star, this is a rule for identifier. So this way I can write the uh, Pascal regular definition for identifier. Okay, this is called a regular definition for what? For identifier. Okay, which identifier? Pascal's identifier. So this is a shorthand. Remember, if you don't want to write this by like this, A or B or C, so you must have used this in Lex A to Z, which means either A or B or C up to Z. I can also write like this ID in Lex. I mean, you must have seen this syntax. This is A to Z or A to Z, and then A to Z, small a to Z, and 0 to 9 star. That is an identifier, which is same as this. Same as this. Now I want to write a regular definition for unsigned numbers. Okay, I want to write a regular definition for unsigned numbers. Now you will say why I am doing this all? Because if you have a programming language, there are various things like numbers, keywords, identifiers, and you need to design regular expression for all of them. And from that, you are going to create a code. That code will eventually scan the thing and tokenize the string, right? So it is very essential to have a regular definition or expression for everything. Okay, so that's why we are seeing few of the things. Let's see for unsigned numbers. So what are the unsigned numbers? So you see this green region, 1240, 39.45. These all are the numbers. Sometimes this is also the correct number, 6.33E15. That means exponent part, 10 raised to 15. Or 1.578 minus 41. That means 10 raised to minus 41. So, but these things are optional, right? Exponent is optional. Exponent is optional. Or fraction is also optional, because they all are unsigned numbers. 123 is also unsigned number. 123.5 is also unsigned number. Okay, 6E23 is also unsigned number. Okay, and 6E minus 24 is also unsigned number. And 1.6E minus 19 is also unsigned number. Right? So I want to write a regular definition in such a way that this all unsigned numbers would get covered. Right? So what is a digit? Digit is 0 to 9. And now remember, I created one more thing, digits, which is digit plus. What does it mean? Number, digit plus. Okay, one or more occurrence of digit. Okay. Now optional fraction. What do you mean by optional fraction? Fraction is not always, like here there is no need of fraction. It's an optional part. So what I have, if I have, then I should have a decimal point followed by digits. If I don't want, then I will have a null. This is a null. Okay. If I don't have, then this is a null. Same way, fraction is also, as fraction, exponent is also optional. So how to write an optional exponent part? How to define it? So either it could be null, or if you want to take exponent, then the sign is E, just like here, E. Again, there are two things. After it, there could be directly a number like 23, 24, or there could be a sign like plus or minus. Okay, because exponent could be positive or negative. Okay, 10 raised to minus 19 is also correct. So, I can have either plus or minus or null. Okay, followed by digits. Digits means one or more digit. Okay, and now what is an unsigned number? This is my final definition that I am shading, right? Digits, the sequence of digits, optional fraction. So you can take null if you wish. If you want to take a fraction like this, then there should be a point and then followed by digits like this. Then optional exponent. Then you can take a null if you wish. Otherwise, if it is an E, then here it's minus. So minus is matched here and digits will match 41. Okay. So this is an unsigned number. So how to write the regular definition? I can easily write it like shorthand. Rather than writing this dot digits or null, I can use a question mark, which means 0 or 1 times. Okay. So dot digits question mark. That means if I take it once only, if I don't take it, it's null. Same way, this thing, and then I can put a question mark. Okay, and then number is what? Digits followed by optional fraction followed by optional exponent. And this is a regular definition for what? For unsigned numbers. Yes, are you getting what I'm saying? Uh, I hope you are listening, right? Uh, Rahil is saying yes, yes. Others? Okay, thanks. Okay, so next, this is for unsigned numbers. Okay, so if I go ahead, how can we use the concept developed so far to assist in recognizing tokens of source language? For example, if you have a keywords like if, then, else, some relational operator like less than, greater than, not, this is not equals to, okay, in some languages. Okay, how, what language construct them? So the tokens and patterns are same actually. If, then your pattern is if. Then the pattern is then. Okay, exactly, because these are the keywords. E followed by L followed by S followed by E followed by blank makes a token else, nothing else. Okay, identifier you know, number you know. Okay. You see there is something written over here, the grammar. Okay, so something called expression, statement. Don't worry, we'll see this. You must have studied this grammar in TOEFL, context-free grammar, right? That statement is if expression, then statement, else statement, or if expression, then statement, like this, or something called if. Okay, this is one rule. Probably you might be not be knowing. I stands for if, E stands for expression. So whenever you write if statement, in bracket there would be some expression, then would be curly bracket, then there will be some set of statements. Okay, else there would be some statement. Yes, have you studied this grammar or not? If expression, then statement, else statement. This is not a regular language. This is a context-free grammar. Okay, we will use this in future. Okay, but remember this. So remember other tasks done by lexical analyzer. I already mentioned this. Scan away the blanks because not required for parsing. Scan away new lines, tabs. Can we define token for this? Yes. Blank, the token is blank. Tab, new line. What is dalim? Dalim is either a blank or a tab or a new line. That is called a dalim. Okay? And what is a white space? WS is the one or more occurrence of blank, tab or new line. No token is returned to the parser. There is no token to the parser. Okay, what do you think? So remember white space. If you say if you are asked to define a white space, what is a white space? White space is one or more occurrence of a blank, tab, or new line. One or more occurrence of blank, tab, or new line is considered as a white space, and no token is returned to the parser for this. Okay. Uh, See, I wanted to tell you one thing. Whenever you get error from compiler, you are also getting a line number. Okay, that this error occurred on line number 5. This error occurred on line number 10. Anyone would like to say how lexical analysis can associate line numbers? What it can keep track of? How to associate a line number? Because with the error, कोई भी error है तो उसके साथ आप आपने line number, yes, counting new line characters, very correct. So you can actually develop this program, very correct, Harshit and Rahul. Okay, you can count slash n, and every time slash n is there, you increment the line number by one. You take some variable called line number, okay, initialize it, and every time when slash n comes, you increment line number, increment line number. So what will happen with every line of the program, there will be a line number associated. So the lexical analysis also keeps tracks of line number. Association of line number with program statements is also carried out by the lexical analyzer. Hope everybody is getting right. Jinal, Rahul, then Harshit, Yash, Rahil. Okay, fine. So now, we have already seen this. White space, there is no token return. These are the keyword kind of things. So a regular expression is same as the token. Sorry, not ID, but up to else, okay? Identifier, the regular expression is, number, These are the operators called relational operators, okay? And the attribute values are less than to LT, less than equal to LE. Not equals to, this is not equals to, like this, not equals to symbol. Earlier they used to have this symbol. So not equals to, greater than equals to. This is language independent, okay? Right now, according to book, it may be some Pascal language, but according to your language, different symbols can be there. Okay. Now let me tell you something about transition diagrams. Okay, so transition diagrams are generalization of DFA or NFA, right? Generalization of DFA, deterministic finite automata. Okay, actually, these things are generalized to transition diagrams. So see, let me give you a hint. Suppose you are given a project that develops some compiler. Okay, you are given some language for some language. Okay, programming language, you have to make a compiler. So the natural question is, the first thing is lexical analysis. So how will you start with? You will identify various regular expression, like for variable, for number, for unsigned numbers, everything. You will find out what are the different programming constructs. You will find them. Programming constructs, like say identifiers, right? Then operators, then keywords, okay, then delimiters, then white spaces, and so many things, right? So you will identify those things. What you will do, you will create regular expression for them. You will create regular expression, which is nothing but, in our case, it is a pattern. Okay? And once you identify a pattern, you will create DFA from it. Okay, or transition diagram. Once you create that transition diagrams, you will be able to implement them. You will be able to implement them, okay, in some programming language. And this is how you will be able to design the lexical analysis. Remember, the difficulty is there are so many things like operator, keyword, delimiter, white space, identifier, numbers. There are so many things. So you have to combine this. You have to create a big transition diagram or big finite automata, okay, which scans the input and tokenize everything, okay, tokenize everything properly without any mistake. So that joining this different things together is a little bit time consuming and too much tedious also, okay. But ultimately that is what you are going to do. So if you are given some project that do the lexical analysis, create a lexical analyzer, you have to actually find this all these things, find out its regular expressions or regular definitions, convert those regular expressions to automatas. Those small automatas need to be combined together, and you have to finally come up with a big large automata. And this automata, code for this automata you have to implement, and then you have to implement the code for this FA or transition diagram. So let us see this. For example, this is a Pascal identifier, right? So you know this is the letter followed by letter or digit, zero or more times. So this is like a DFA kind of thing, or transition diagram more specifically. DFA are too strict, right? Like letter or digit. So from this you should have a digit also. Then it goes to some date state. So these are some generalized ideas. So this is one state. First it should be letter. So it should be letter. Then it could be either letter or digit. Once it recognizes other symbol other than letter or digit, you accept it, okay, and you return identifier, and you definitely you have to do unget, okay. You have to definitely do the unget. Why you have to do unget? We discussed last time, right? Look ahead, you have already scanned, so you have to push back that thing. So that would be a transition diagram. This would be a transition diagram for what? Identifier. Same way, what is a transition diagram for this white space? So it could be blank or tab or new line followed by blank or tab or new line. Once you get other symbol, you will be in accepting state. This double circle means accepting state. You will not do unget C here, right? Or you will do rather. That is your choice. You have to of course do unget C, because you have started already scanning the next character other than the white space. The delim here is blank or tab or null. Now, if it is just a number, then it is a digit. So this is all the transition diagrams. This is a digit followed by digits. This is a number, right? Whenever you get some other, you will accept this as a number. Okay, you will accept this as a number. You have to do unget C every time. I hope you are getting right. Please stop me if you are not getting. Okay. Same way, if I extend this, see earlier it was just for the numbers, simple numbers. Now I want number with optional fraction. So what I do? I just add one more thing, optional fraction, digits followed by optional fraction number. Okay. What is optional fraction? Either dot followed by digits or null. So directly you can also accept over here, digit followed by digits. If you have a other symbol, you will be accepted here. If there is a dot, then there should be at least one digit. Okay, then it can be any other symbol, then you will accept. So you can see after dot, the same thing is repeated. The same thing is repeated. Digit followed by a digit and other symbol. O means other symbol. Whenever you get other, you will be accepted. Yes, I hope you are getting right. Uh, Rahul, Rahil, uh, Harsh. Yes, okay, fine. Okay. So, unsigned numbers. Let us take a diagram for unsigned numbers. How will you do that? So, what you have to do, you have to take first this digit, this portion, the first portion left is clear, right? Then everything is optional. So if there is a dot, then there will be another diagram like digit followed by at least one digit other than it, you will accept. But after this could be also the string like 123 e raised to e6. So 123 into 10 raised to 6. So directly the exponent part can also come. So dot, then directly exponent if it is coming, you will be at this stage. And now if it is 123 e6, then the digit will be directly coming to this place. But if it is plus or minus, let's say if it is 6e23, okay, sorry, 6e minus 23, let's say it is like this. So the 6 will match here, so digit, so you will come here, then e you will here, okay, then 23 plus 23, so plus or minus, so you will come here, then 2 will be a digit, so 3 will be again a digit, so you will here, and when you get other, then you will be accepted. Okay? So you have to take a transition from e from this space. There may be also the case like some number like 6.023 into e raised to 23. So that also can come. So you have to also follow this part. First 6 here, 0.023 here, then e plus 23 over here. So there are three accepting states. You can see this one circle, which I am moving a cursor where, here and here. So these are called a transition diagram for unsigned numbers. So same way, how will you draw a transition diagram for relational operators? So very easy. If it is less than, after less than, if you are getting other symbol, the token that is returned is LT. After less than, if it is equals to, it is, and then other, then less than equal to. Okay. After equals to, if there is again a second equals to, it is comparison operator equals to. Same way, greater than another, then it's just GT. Okay. But if it is just greater than and equals to, then it is greater than or equal. These are the various tokens. So what I meant is I have to create what? Transition diagrams. Transition diagrams for all. For all means for ID, operator, okay, for keywords, for numbers, and so many things like punctuation marks and so many things. And those individual, so now I have created it individually, individual diagrams need to be combined together to create a full lexical analyzer. Okay, design. Definitely, this is just a design. And then after this is designed, okay, it has to be implemented appropriately by some switch cases and all those things. Let me give you a simple example of it. Okay, so these are the slides from IISc Bangalore, and they have showed various things. Like you see, the same thing, right? Start is the zero state, then letter followed by letter or digit. When other, then you return a get token code. So you will return a code for every token and the name of the token. So how will you start? You see there is a switch, there is a function called get token. Okay. There is a function called get token. there is some loop while one, and there is a switch case, and this is a state. Now what is the state? State means state of transition diagram. Okay, everybody is, I know that you are clear about state and transition. The states could be this, like this is one state, this bubble is one state, second bubble is second state, right? So for each state, okay, what you do is, depending on the state, you will take an action. So there is a switch case. Okay, so if it is the state 0, so if you are here, if you are in the state number 0, and if you are in the state number 0, then the case number 0 will be followed. Okay, what it will do, take a next character. So next character is some function which retrieves the next character from the program, from the buffer. And now you see, is it later? If it is a later, okay, then you move to state number 1. If it is not a later, then state is failure. Then there is a break. So this is an implementation of this particular thing. If it is a later, then state is 1. If it is not later, then it is a failure, dead state in automatic. Okay. So else state is equal to failure. Failure is some function which will issue some error message. Okay. And then you need to break. Suppose you are at case, because once you break, you again come to in the while loop. When you again come to the while loop, the state is 1. Okay. If it is a valid identifier, so then you will have a case number 1, which means you are here. Now if it is a letter or digit, okay, you will be in state 1. So if it is a letter or it is a digit, so if it is a letter or a digit, then you will remain in the same state. If it is any other symbol, then state is equal to 2. So you can see this diagram, then state is equal to 2. And then you need to break. Again you break, you again come to the while loop, okay, and if the state is equal to 2, okay, you have to retract 1. What do you mean by retract? Retract is same as ungetC, right? Because you have already scanned the next character, and so you should somehow get back to the, I mean, first. So you will retract to 1. And what you do when you come to case number 2, which means this, you will return a token which says the name of the token, and probably you will also insert that token into the symbol table. Okay, so you see here, you retract to 1, and my token, it's a variable, token is a class. Okay? So my token.token is equal to search token. So search token will, like in Lex, you have YY text, matching pattern and all, everything. So it will extract the token string, okay, and then using that token string, okay, you will compare. If it is an identifier, okay, then you will take its value, okay, identifier, suppose ABC, then the value is ABC, and return that my token. This is some pseudocode kind of thing, okay, or okay, kind of. This is 2. Same way, this case number 3, 4, 5, they are meant for octal and hexadecimal constant. Because in C you can write, right, 0 followed by something is octal and 0x is hexadecimal. So you can create a Z, there should be, so there is a third state, because up to 2 you have already designed, right? 0, 1 and 2 you have already designed. So for octal, if it is a requirement, I will take a start state 3. There should be 0 followed by X or capital X, or it should be deoct. Deoct should be 0 to 7. Okay. If it is 0, then there is no X, that means it's an octal. Okay, so it could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 5, 6, 7, etc. and then you will return some integer constant. Okay, there is also some qualifier like u, I, l. Okay, this is a octal format, this is a hexadecimal format. So again, you need to also think about these cases, and you need to implement this. Case number 3, 4, 5. So again, let me explain. If you are in a case number 3, that means if you are in a state number 3, if next letter is 0, so next letter you have to take. If it is 0, then state is 4, and then you break. If next is not 0, then it's a failure. If it is 0, then state is 4. Okay. So you are here. Now from 4, there are two possibilities, x or 0 to 7. If it is 0x, it's a hexadecimal number. If it is 0 to 7, that is d-oct, it would be an octal number. So in a case 4, if you take a next character, if it is x or capital X, it is allowed. You will go to state 5. That is state 5. If it is any number from 0 to 7, you will go to state 9. Yes, definitely if it is something else, failure. Okay. Uh, Same way from 5 also, same way, so that way you have to implement. From 5, you should have hexadecimal digit, then you will move to 6, otherwise failure. Okay, otherwise failure, then break. So what I wanted to tell, same way, 6, there should be hexadecimal digit, then on the 6, others, then 7, there you will return this. U or capital U or I or L, then also you will return integer constant. Okay. So you see, on 6, if you are getting next character, if it is a hexadecimal digit, you remain in the 6th state. Okay. And else if it is something like U, these are qualifiers, or capital U or L or capital L, okay, then you move to state number 8. Okay. Otherwise, you move to state number 7. If there is nothing like U or capital U, qualifiers are not compulsory. Okay, then you take. Okay. So, I mean, what I wanted to say is this way from the transition diagram, you can create a code that is the switch cases, and by following the switch cases, you can create an entire code. Definitely, there will be a loop, while loop kind of thing until the program has input. You will continue in this while loop. But you have to somehow implement these states and transition into a C code or some kind of code. Am I saying true or not? Am I saying true or not? Yes. Rahil is saying yes. Okay. Are you getting this code? Harshit, Jayesh, everybody got this code? Whatever I explained? Yes. Okay. So, so if you are in state 7, okay, then you have to retract. Okay, retract to 1. Okay. Uh, so I mean, one place. Similarly, there could be many other things. Okay, like you. This is the diagram for you can see. This is for integer constant. Digit followed by digits. Okay, whenever you get other, you can say return integer constant. Okay. So depending on those many, suppose there are 15 states, there are 15 switch cases in the diagram. Is 12, 13, 14, 15. And you have to implement. Okay. So remember, different transition diagrams must be combined appropriately to yield lexical analysis. Combining transition diagram is not trivial. It is possible to try different transition diagrams one after another. So see, if somebody is really interested in designing lexical analyzer, this is an advice. First, you should create a diagram for reserved words, like keywords, then constants like integer constant, float constant, character constant, literals, strings, etc., white spaces and everything, followed by identifiers, then operators. Okay, this is a like a heuristic. Okay, first you make a diagram for reserved words. Okay, and then you can say operators, then identifiers, then I mean numbers. I think numbers are first, then there are identifiers. Okay, and that way you create transition diagrams. Okay, and then you combine it appropriately. After combining, you have to create something like this. Okay, and you need to use this, okay, to do the scanning and tokenization. And remember, and that's why you are learning Lex tool, which does this all things automatically for you, all automatically for you. Now are you getting the insides of the Lex tool? In Lex tools, you are just giving what? Patterns and actions. Right? You are giving the definition that what is a number, what is a identifier, what is a operator, etc. You are giving a pattern, regular expression, and then you are giving action. Pattern means regular expression, and action means C code that you are writing. That's why remember, Lex is also called a pattern action language. Just 2 minutes, okay? Then I am leaving. Pattern and action language. Okay. So this, whatever you are writing, it is automatically converted to transition diagrams. Transition diagrams. Okay. And from the diagrams, automatically this switch case kind of code, okay, which will be automatically generated. So this entire burden is not on your heads, but it is on the heads of the tool, that is Lex. Yes, am I saying correct or not? Yes, your job is just to specify patterns and corresponding actions. Conversion to the transition diagrams, conversion of diagram to that code, that switch case, and all those things is done automatically. Correct or not? Yes. Okay. Okay. So I hope up to this everybody is clear. We'll see tomorrow the next things. Thank you so much.